Okay, so these guys are back at their chopping. They figured out these older tractors don't have enough room for the hydraulic fluid to lift this and lower it. So they put in a gallon after they've lifted it. That's what Trey's doing right now. And then when they lower it, everything extra comes out and they catch it in a gallon container. So they're being able to reuse that. This is just his first day using the dump wagon for this, and they're not set up with the right hydraulic tank for it. He said he's got a couple of extras. He'll have to get it figured out on there and get that taken care of, but the chopping's going really good for him. Trey had originally done double rows on the hay raking, and then they went to single rows. We got just a slight rain last night. It was supposed to rain for like 6 hours, and we don't know how much it actually rained because, you know, middle of the night. We work hard, so we were sleeping, but they were a little wet and it was clogging up the chopper. So this is the load that he got today. This is his second load that he's dumping now, and he went over to the south field because it had been tedded out and not raked, and he started just chopping it with it tedded out, and it did okay, but it was leaving some on the ground, so he decided to go ahead and just do single rows to rake it. So we'll go over there and watch him chop in a little bit. Now, how is that going to work out with that tailgate? It's not going to snap the tailgate. See, the whole frame is made of plywood. I thought that the whole pile, he said it's packing really well because it's so fresh. The first load that we did, it was a little dry in the dump truck trailer, so that wasn't as nice as this. And then he's just using his backhoe to push it up into a pile. It does a lot neater pile than the dump truck also, so that's good. So let's go see what they're doing here with their hydraulic oil. It's dusty, huh?
Yep. It looks like a loaf of bread, doesn't it?
All working and learning together. George learns everything from Trey. He always asks him questions and tells him what's going on. We went by a field a while ago driving, and George said that he wasn't doing something right and told Trey that guy needed to be out there bailing because it was going to rain. So see, everything that he puts in, he just collects back out. So just a matter of too small of a hydraulic tank. He's figured out his own. So Trey's gonna lower it down and Dad's gonna catch. So he is back at his chopping and it's going really well. See how I was talking about the single rows? they're smaller, but he's not getting any trouble with clogging. Maybe a little more fuel with the extra laps with the chopper and the wagon, but because he's not having to stop for clogs, the field on the other side of the house, he just kept like bogging down. It was just a little too damp from last night's rain. So he's gonna go back to that, but he wanted to get this field done before the end of today. It's 6. We usually try to stop at least by 7:30 for dinner, and it hasn't been happening lately, so it's chopping really nice. Because he did go back and rake, look at how clean and nice this is. So this is 3rd cutting on this field. It is a 1-year-old hay field that was just planted last year with your different hay grasses, alfalfa, and clover. And originally this had so much clover in it. The first cutting bales we just finished feeding up a couple of days ago. The first cutting bales we just finished feeding a couple of days ago, they baled so loosely because of the bulk of the clover, and it just didn't dry down as good, that the bales were all a little sloppy. So we didn't even bother to put them in the barn. We just left them on the ground, covered with a tarp, and fed them. And it probably took about a month to get them all fed. But we've gone through 2nd cutting with no problem. There was a lot less clover. 3rd cutting was looking really good, and then we got that real heavy wind and rain a few days ago, and it was time to cut it. It was starting to, you know, kind of blow over a little bit, and he didn't want it to go full out blossoming. There was definitely a lot of blossoms on it. The honeybees have been working it, getting lots of extra honey for us. So if you need any honey, go over to the Etsy shop and you can order jars of honey there. Shipping is anywhere from 2 to 3 days processing time on my end. I usually try to get them out the next day of an order if I can, but as you can see, things are pretty busy here right now. So if it's a late night and there's a lot going on the next day, a lot of times I'll get it out the day after. But with our honey here, it's mostly clover honey because they don't have to go much farther for anything else. And in the fall, we get the wildflower mixed. It's a lot of like goldenrod and different things like that they get pollen from. And the spring honey is all the honey for themselves to get themselves going, because without that, they can't really start building their colonies up. Now, this is the time of year that we're getting the swarms, like in that previous video that you saw. And they are doing so well that you got to really watch them and make sure that you're getting divides and things like that. Actually splitting your beehives, and then you get extra bees and beehives. So plenty going on here with that. Plenty going on here with the painting, and plenty going on here with the hay. Lots of things going on at the workhouses. And this is really going to save us a lot of time because, like I said to the kids, this morning they put away the very last of the straw. We had about 37 bales left to put up, and we've been doing it all by hand in the loft, just building like a staircase with the rest of the other straw, hoisting it up and throwing it up by hand. One day I'll maybe find a little electric skeleton elevator, but I just keep looking and I can't find them. And you know, when you're selling hay for $5 to $8 a bale, it's really hard to swallow spending $1,000 or a couple $1,000s for a little mini elevator. So for now, we'll do it by hand and maybe get a little extra fat worn off of those boys in the meantime. So now he's lifted up. So what do you gotta do? Okay, so what now?
The way I had it, as soon as I put the pump in here, it was dumping oil out the vent.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why at all. So I shut this valve. It doesn't make any sense. If they were both full with the pump out, we put the pump in, started the tractor, and it was pumping oil from here right out there, just out of the reservoir in here. And I don't understand that. So we're gonna, now that it's run out of oil,
Yeah.
I'm gonna open this valve up and watch and see what it's doing, because something might not be right.
Okay. Well, that's a darn mess.
Okay.
Yep. So it went from the tractor to your tank.
It's still wanting to come off, even
Yeah.
though this is run empty.
Okay.
So something about where I hooked it isn't right. This has no oil, it's totally empty, and yet it still wants to push
Right.
something from somewhere.
So then the air is probably
Now I
going
have to do
that.
it like we were again.
Oh no.
And then catch it.
See, we don't always get everything right the first try. A lot of people like you to think that they do, but no, we don't. He actually just caught, and he was showing me off camera. Trey's been turning too sharp with the raking, and we painted this all. He's been running it right into it, and he told him if he's not careful, he's going to shear off that steel valve stem and end up out in the field with a flat tire. And sometimes, like I said the other day, they were a good 5, maybe 8 miles away. So we got to be careful with that. So this is it in lifted and dumping mode. He's gonna go get his little container there because he can't lower it back down. And I don't know what he's gonna do with that, but we'll see.
I was wondering if he remembered people used to hook up to the bottom one,
Yeah?
and then it would draw.
Okay.
Like with, I wonder. Isn't that weird that dude would do that? So, this will get it dumped. It's just a stupid way.
Inconvenient. Just like that, we got duped. I figured, hey, no square bales to put up. I'll get back to my work. I started working on this tabletop right here, and I wanted to take a break from what I was doing because I was trying out a new transparent stain and I didn't like it, so I figured let this dry and I would sand it off. It's almost purple. It was supposed to be blue. So I start putting this on and it started raining, and now you can see I don't know how that's going to affect that, but maybe a second coat will take care of it. I'm not sure, but boy, where the water hit that, all those pores are just standing, the wood grain is standing right up. Terrible. And his hay's out there getting rained on. Just a quick downpour. There was only a 15% chance of any rain today after like 9 a.m. This is unbelievable. Nothing showed on radar for the whole day. And yeah, it's okay because the top layers, you know, no big deal. We've seen some farms that don't even cover them for the summer. I don't know why, but it seems like you keep it covered so that it doesn't start getting moldy or anything. Oh, my kids are out there in the rain. They don't care. Oh. Wrong way, Murdoch. You're supposed to turn it upside down.
Airplanes are coming back as soon as possible. Or as fast as possible.
Oh, our hay. Well, the rain was only a minor setback for him. I had to scrap all the work I did. Oh, I had been sanding a wood table and it got destroyed. It's got like open pores and it got rained on, so it's all rough, and I got to resand it and start over again. The joys of woodworking outside. I knew I should have done it in the barn. Anyways, he's able to salvage this. It's great for the cow hay. They don't care. He's just chopping it right up. It smells as fresh as it did yesterday. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up.